Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Wendy. How are you?
I'm really, really, really well.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm bloody excited too.
Oh, I know you are. You've got something to be really, really excited
I
about.
do. Oh my God. Just like that. Just like that. Life changes, doesn't it?
My oath, it does.
We never know where our path is going to take it. It's like really, we just never, ever know.
And so that takes us to our topic today of filling the void and what we need to do for that void to be what we want it to be.
And that void, I think a really important thing to touch on when we're talking about that is how I'd felt that depth of emptiness for so long. Like, you and I were chatting as we usually do before we start our podcast, and that feeling of being the lack of excitement, the lack of purpose, feeling a bit lost, disconnected from all parts of life, really. And just feeling that I think I even mentioned to you, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the last podcast, maybe even a slight touch of depression, I wouldn't probably go that far, but probably a bit of sadness before I get to depression. And not knowing, trying to make choices that probably weren't the best choices for me at the time. And now starting to go, well, now that I've emptied all that crap out and taking responsibility, that's been a big thing, me taking responsibility for me and filling the cup again.
Yeah. I think for many, there's been a stuckness too.
Yeah.
They've kind of felt like they've got chewing gum stuck on the bottom of their shoes, when you just can't really move forward. And what's it take for that to be, for that feeling? You've got to move things around. And I know for me, and I know that you've done the same thing, and I know many others have too, is that there's got to be a cleaning out of that void. Because when you clean shit out, it's like it creates the vacuum to pull good stuff in. Because when you create the void, it will always be filled.
Yes.
Because that's a natural law, a universal law. And so when you're clearing out shit, whether it's, you're clearing out and doing a real good stock take on your environment in, your personal spaces or within yourself, with relationships, with your finances, with your career, whatever it is, you have to be able to be prepared to release, to receive.
Absolutely.
But in saying that too, we also need to be aware that we have to be grateful for what is already in the void, because if we're not grateful for what we've got in the void, we'll only continue to get more of that same stuff.
And that is really important, that what happened to me, I was feeling that emptiness. I actually must say that I was just, I couldn't pin it down what was going on with me. I just couldn't really, I knew something wasn't right. I know my cup wasn't full, and I'm usually a pretty full cup person, but I just couldn't figure it out. And we, as I said to you, we had a whirlwind crazy time where we found the van that we wanted, the camper van we wanted. And so next thing you know, before we knew it, we're on an aeroplane packed with extra luggage, and we were purchasing our van that we thought we wanted. And turns out we actually love it even more than we thought we wanted it. Driving it home. And so that has, I have to be honest, once I manifested it, I was like, okay, so I've done that, tick, what's next? And I know that is usually with manifestation, quite often it's about the energy before as opposed to getting the product or whatever you've manifested. And so once we actually got to the van, I was telling you earlier that, we were looking at it and my daughter was like, Mom, you don't seem that happy. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to make sure it's the right one. And, I was really subdued. But as time's gone by, I'm just absolutely over the moon But one of the really important things that happened to me, and you mentioned it, is that on Sunday, we got home midnight Saturday night, and on Sunday, I was like, oh my God. I was coming back from the shed in the paddock and where the van was, and I was like, oh my God. I really had to take stock, and I don't think I'd done that for a really long time. I took stock of what was good in my life as opposed to what wasn't working well. And when I did that,
yeah,
it's like I had a total switch of a button.
yeah, yeah.
Things changed.
I have to agree that's the thing. You know, I mentioned earlier too, every year, I believe every coach needs a coach. And so,
yes,
you know, you kind of interview people who are going to, that you want to work with, that you want them to be your coach. And I was going through the process, and the guy said to me, so what are you unhappy with in your life right now? Like, what is it that you want to change in your life? And I went, nothing.
Isn't it wonderful? But that's wonderful, isn't it? Isn't it wonderful?
Because I'm grateful for absolutely everything that I've got in my life.
Well, I'd lost that, which I teach that.
Yeah.
And I'd lost it. Like, you know, I teach that all the time. I use it in my social media posts. And yet I had been overwhelmed by my own emptiness, which was, I actually think now that just even chatting with you here on the podcast, I had forgot to give gratitude.
Yeah. And
going back to the basics.
And it is. And, you know, I still, you know, I had this conversation on Monday. Start your day with it, because it sets your whole day up. It doesn't.
It does.
And this isn't about, and many people get really confused, or they get overwhelmed, because it seems like such a big thing to do when you're having a look at the whole of your life. But you know what? It's, how do you eat an elephant? It's just one bite at a time. And one of those bites that you do, and you do it consistently, and you chew the shit out of it, is your gratitude. You do it in the morning. What am I grateful for right now? You know, the eyes see the beauty of the day. You know, for life itself, for the legs that will walk me to the bathroom. Like the very simple things.
Yes.
And then at the end of the day, what am I grateful for? What did I experience? Good, bad, or ugly?
Yep.
But be grateful for the actual experience, because the experience has a gift in it. And that's what we have continually forgotten. We just think, oh, that shit, you know, I've had a really horrid day. When in actual fact, there's something in there that that's contributed to you being who you are now. And that's what you have to be grateful for. You're grateful for the experience. You're grateful for the growth that came out of that.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I've had a massive growth, and you know, I always talk about how I give gratitude every morning, but just even sitting here reflecting back on that, I was like, oh my God, I actually haven't done that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably, and I'd said to you earlier, my meditation, I am a big meditator as well. And I had let that slip a bit. And it was like it's like, because of that, and me not taking responsibility for my own self-care, I created this void, which wasn't probably a bad thing, because I needed to probably let go of some stuff. And I'm doing that both mentally, physically, and, you know, I'm actually having a declutter. And I've had a number of clients this week that all have been saying to me, they feel stuckness. They feel like they need to clean out not just their mind, but their lives, as in their cupboards, their houses, their garages. They're feeling that they need to declutter. And it was like, oh my God, I'm doing that as well. Like, I don't know whether, you know, having these conversations with my clients was bringing that up. And I always be very honest with them and tell them how I'm feeling as well, and say, look, it's okay, you know, because we are going through a lot of energetic changes right now too, which don't help. but yeah, just bringing that back and realizing the void. And for me, the void has not been doing my self-care the way I always do.
Yeah. And
Aha,
it's,
that's an aha moment.
yeah. And it becomes like when you commit to that, and I spoke about this too, like I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah.
And everyone like throws off at me because I am, you know, I have
No, I get it.
the same thing I do every single morning, and I eat the same breakfast, and I do the same because I know what works for me. You know, there's a reason why I eat that same breakfast every morning. I will not start the day with sweet.
Get it.
You
I
know,
get it. I get it.
and there's a, you know, my mum was an insulin dependent diabetic. Her mum was an insulin dependent diabetic. And my, you know, I health is my greatest wealth. It really is. And
Yes.
so I am really conscious of making sure that I have got the ducks in a row to have me living my best life. And so when I do the creature of habit thing, everyone like poo-poos me, but when you start your day with those habits, then everything through your day, it doesn't matter what happens.
No.
It's okay. You're not going to lose your shit. You're going to be responding in the way that you wish to respond. You're going to pause if you need to pause. You're going to, and you'll find that to-do list, you knock it over in no time.
I know, right?
Because you get so committed to those habits.
Yep. I just relate to you. And, you know, I'm usually a creature of habit too. So I would never, ever poo-poo you because I think I need that. But just having this chat with you now has gone, holy crap, excuse the language, people. But honestly, I had stopped my self-care, my key things that I did before my feet even touched the ground. I would be giving gratitude for whatever it was, for the day before, the night before, whatever. Before I went to bed every night, the last thing I did was give gratitude that I, you know, was healthy and we're well and, you know, we're abundant and whatever they are. And then I would do my meditations morning and night. And I've just realized I haven't actually been doing that, not to the extent that I used to do it.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I felt numb, the lack of excitement, because I think once you started off in the morning, and this happens for me anyway, if I give gratitude first thing in the morning and I'm grateful for what's going on around me and where I am and what's going on, and sometimes, you know, I'm still doing it in the shower because I love to give gratitude in the shower, it takes me throughout the whole day. And just the simplest little things, even if it's a shitty thing, as you said, I can always find something good in it.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't starting my day that way, I'd lost my way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like you're stepping into who you need to be each and every day for you to be the best that you can be each and every day.
Yes.
But if we just meander, it's the same, you know, if you, I don't even know who said it, but if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and so if you don't take the time in the morning to, you know, go through the gratitude and write down your thoughts and you know, practice some meditation, and I like to, one of my things is, you can imagine a rubber band and it hasn't been touched for quite a while, it goes all brittle and stuck. Well, that's the same with my mind and with my body. So I like to stretch, I like to do my yoga, I like to make sure that I'm doing that practicing that mindfulness, and you know, I've got a little boy that sits beside me, a little dog that sits beside me while I'm on my yoga mat, and just seeing him brings up that, you know, that love feeling that is just, and you are like, I'm so grateful that he's in my world. You know, and it's that then that makes any crap during the day, like,
it does.
smell nice, if you know what I mean.
Yes. And I think unintentionally I wasn't doing my self-love exercises, my you know, like obviously just as we're going through this and I'm going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I was ignoring my own emotions and feelings, which was creating that emptiness.
Yeah.
And so, look, I know, I'll be honest, and any of the listeners out there, I've been on a bit of a roller coaster for the last probably even 18 months. So much in our life has been crazy. But when I come back and reflect, and I mentioned this to Wendy this morning, when I actually reflect on that and realized lemon tea, just simple things like the first thing I drink in the morning is a glass of water and then I make myself a lemon tea. I'd stopped doing that for like 2 months. I'm now back doing that, by the way. I started that again Monday. And it's just those little things that you need, like your eggs on your toast that you have, your eggs not on toast, but your eggs that you have every morning. You know, that is your fuel. And they may be habits, but they're things that if we leave them long enough, they actually turn into something that actually can create a very different us.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? It permeates out into different people. Like I laugh because there's people that I used to work with, that I used to travel with, and they, you know, we've got together for a coffee catch up, a breakfast coffee catch up, and they've gone, so you still have one egg, half a tomato, some baby spinach and mushrooms. And I was like, yeah. Because that's, they were used to, that was me every day.
Yeah, it works for you.
Yeah. And for them, they knew it was just the same authentic me. It was just, it was just still me, you know?
Yep.
And you can read me like a book, I guess, but because of those habits. But I think that they're just so valuable. I just, you know, and that creates the void. That creates, that allows that vacuum to be, you know, you're pushing stuff out all the time. You know, you're prepared to have the difficult conversations that you need to have. You're prepared, you know, whether it's in business or if it's in personal. You're prepared to, because you know the value in them, and you know that it comes from a good place. But it's allowing that vacuum so that the void doesn't sit there like a stagnant pond. It's actually, you know, the plug's being pulled, and of course when the plug's coming down, it's pulling good stuff in. It's not, it's not that we're being left with nothing. It's
no.
Pardon me.
And
so,
as we're sitting here and I'm just, you know, pondering and listening and reflecting on my own behaviors, I've just realized that empty feeling, that stuckness, that behaviors, those emotions that I'm having, that was me living in a state of lack instead of a state of gratitude.
And that is where, when you're feeling the shittiest that you could ever think about feeling, just get a pen and a piece of paper, not your phone. Put down the tech. Get rid of the shitty tech, because you know what? One day there's going to be a massive bloody blackout, and everyone's going to be screwed because they haven't got access to power on their phone. So just grab a good old trusty pen and some paper and write down the things that you're grateful for, and have an evaluation of how you feel at the beginning to how you feel at the end. And then, you know what? Go out and do something nice for someone, because that will amplify exactly how good you feel.
I totally agree with that. And look, I have journals everywhere. Like the new van even has a brand new, beautiful linen covered journal in it, you know. I haven't written in it yet, but I will. And that's because we had our grandson with us and I was trying to give him some time. But that's going to be one of my big things, is journaling our journey and, you know, creating memories and just capturing. You know, maybe I might. I'm not saying I won't still have those up and down emotions, but
of course you will. You're real. You're human.
That's right. But
and we're complex.
Those. And so I do. And I'm, you know, like, you know, I've got a journal sitting here on my desk, which always sits here on my office desk. I have a journal in my bedroom. I have journals everywhere because, like you, we love our pen and paper. We just love. I love to be able to just capture all that really amazing energy.
And you know what? When you start to, I think there's one thing that that we've all become so bogged down in, and that's our failure to dream.
Yes.
We have not given ourselves permission to dream. And so, you know, sit down and write out what your perfect day looks like. What are the things that you want for your life? Like, it could be, you know, to do with faith and freedom, and yeah, or it could be that you know, you want a van, or you want a new home, or whatever it is, whatever
Might want to change your jobs. You might want to retire.
Yeah.
You know, depending
You
on
might be searching for that new man that you know, that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Yeah. But get it down on paper.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And that's probably what helped me too, pull me out of my own bum, really, because I had my head stuck fair up my inside. I probably think the fact that I was bored, I didn't have a clear purpose, and just now I'm just getting all these visions, how I have picked up my pen and paper, how I have started to do my gratitude, how I have started to do my meditation, how I have started to do my lemon water. You know, like, it's just those things.
Yeah.
That for me, they work for me, and you've got to find out what works for you. And like Wendy is her eggs, and then she's got a few other things that she does as well. You know, her yoga mat, she's a yoga instructor. She does lots of like both of us, we both do energy healing. And so we have to be at our peak when we're working with our clients. And if we're having feelings of emptiness, how can I guide somebody on their journey if I don't even know where I'm going?
Yeah.
It's, look, I think we have to acknowledge it, take responsibility for it, own our shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
what we have to do is
get out of it.
We've got to stop focusing on out there. Like, on the destination, but enjoy the process of living. Enjoy every day. Like, don't, you know, it's not about, you know, waking up Monday morning, oh shit, you know, shitty job, I can't wait till Friday. Enjoy every day, every single day, because there's something, there's a blessing in every day.
Well, I think if you can pull yourself on your own negative thoughts, that's really important as well. You know, if your mindset is not like, and we have done a podcast on mindset, so feel free to go back and find the mindset podcast. You know, that also creates an emptiness as well, because you're only focusing on what's not working. You're not focused on what is working. And I say to people all the time, and I know I've mentioned this in our podcast before, get yourself an exercise book. And when you're feeling great, write down all the amazing things in your life. That way, when you feel crappy, you can go back and read it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, say it in your own voice, but writing it down is really powerful, because you can go back and you can read it and you go, yeah, that is good in my life. Yeah, that's great too. And in no time, you'll be going down your list and you'll be going, I'm feeling better. My energy's rising. I'm starting to get that positive energy back. You know, I can feel that bounce in my step. My cup's getting a bit full. And that's usually just from reading something that you've written previously.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much to be said for the pen and paper. It's, you know, scribing it actually makes it physical.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
It's not something that's there that you can delete. You know, it's actually there. It's actually something that, and you have to put energy into putting it on that paper. And there's so much to be honest. Said. Yeah.
Being honest, like, it's the best place. I say it's the best place for my written vomit. Yeah. You know, when I really need to get rid of stuff, and if it's really that bad, I'll rip it out of my book and I'll take it out the back and I'll burn it.
Yeah. See, I believe have two journals. You have a gratitude journal, you have a shit journal, and the shit one is for all your shitty thoughts. So throughout the day, one in your handbag, and if something's going wrong at work or something's going wrong out there, you can whip it out and you can write, you know what, and you get everything out onto that. And
you get rid of it all, don't you?
And it's lighter by the day, because when you start and you're ripping those pages out and you're burning them when you get home, that book goes from being a solid book, you know, to slowly being nothing at all.
Yeah.
And you have a look at how I've gotten rid of all of that rubbish out of my mind. Like, this is You take the rubbish out of your kitchen every day, you need to take it out of here.
That's right. And I think the really important part of that too, Wendy, is if you're taking it out of your mind, you're taking it out of your body.
Yes.
You're actually also removing the likelihood, as Louise Hay always says, is dis-ease creates disease.
Yes.
And so if you've got that constant dis-ease going on in your body and there's no gratitude and you're negative and you can't see the fog through the fog that's ahead of you, and you can't be thankful for anything, and you're just so dissatisfied in your life and your job and whatever, the overall happiness that you have.
Your body's going to tell you.
What are you manifesting in that body of yours?
Well, your body's going to tell you. Have a look at where you might have, you know, creaks and groans and, you know,
my cold sores. Look at my cold sores. Perfect example.
But your body does. You know, your issues around about, you know, about money. That's your lower back.
Yeah,
it's your lack of stability.
Okay.
Lack of stability. Yeah. Like, you know, that's the kind of thing that, and that's that environmental stability, financial stability, whatever that is.
Yes.
But you know, we fail to look at the emotions or the way that our body communicates.
Yeah.
And it's trying to tell us, hey, hang on a second, you need to have a look here, because you know, when you come in, it's like, oh, I don't know what's wrong. You know, well, your body's saying to you, will you just look here?
Yes.
You know,
well, as I said, my cold sores, perfect example. You know, like with the whirlwind that we had, but I wasn't embracing it. And I was actually just saying to a client the other day, how many of us have actually, we've gone through the shutdowns and now we're looking back on that going, oh, I didn't actually make the most of that time. And yet we could have made more of that time than what we actually did. Yeah. Some people made great use of it and some people didn't. And now people are reflecting on that going, oh, you know, but it's never too late. It's never too late to reflect and embrace exactly what you have.
Every day's a brand new day.
It is. Every hour is a brand new hour. Every minute's a brand new minute.
Yep. Yeah. And you're not stuck.
No, there is no stuckness. It's a really bad word, actually, now that I think about that. I'm stuckness. I have stuckness.
Yeah. But people think that they just have to sit in it, but you don't. You can change things up as it's your choice. It's your responsibility to change it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I just this has been a really useful podcast for me this week. You know, so I hope you get as much out of it as what I certainly am, because it was like I had to kick my own ass, really.
Yeah.
And sometimes we actually need to do that, don't we?
Absolutely, we do. And the excitement from your acquiring of your new little home on wheels.
I know.
It's palpable. You can feel it. So it's good. Yeah.
So if anybody out there has a name for our van, feel free to give me names. I think we'll name her. She's a her because of me, but you know, hubby doesn't. He won't care about that. He's not right into names and stuff. So I just say she's a he, really. She's a she, really. So if you've got a name out there for it, it's only a little van. It's not a big. It is it's called a Winnebago, but it's just a camper van. So it's a small, like a Sprinter. It's a Mercedes Sprinter. So it's just a smaller van. That we're going to be hitting the road more and more and more.
How exciting. I think it's bloody brilliant.
I know. Wendy will probably be joining me before too much longer at the rate she's going as well.
Fingers crossed. And
life
that's
what we want it to be, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. Yes, it is. We get to choose. Don't surrender that sovereignty, that freedom, that you know, who you are, and just seize it, be who you are, be proud of who you are, and just do the things that make your heart sing like that. Yeah. And what you know deep inside is right for you, because you know what inside is right for you.
Like a van for you listening out there, you might be going, I couldn't think of anything worse.
I've actually got a girlfriend and she's like, nah, I'll do 5-star. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, but I don't want to do 5-star. I want to do 5-star on the road. Oh, I want
Yeah.
to be like a turtle. I want to be able to have the shell, like have my home on my back. So wherever we, yeah. And
See,
our next trip will be our big trip. Will be from here to Tassie. We will go and do Tassie again.
Well, we're hoping to do Tassie in February, so around February anyway.
We went in January quite a few years ago now, almost 10 years ago, and it was freezing cold in January, and so I learnt the lesson.
Oh no!
So I had to I had to go and buy. I went down thinking it was like Brisbane weather, and that everywhere in Australia had Brisbane weather.
No.
I got off the flight and went.
Sorry.
It was like, it just took my breath away. It was like, oh my God.
See, whereas I did take some daggy old sloppy joes, and I packed Rob tracksuit pants, and I had some tights, so we were already ready for when we were going to hit back into the colder weather.
Yeah.
Because it's already been 2 degrees down here overnight. I know. She's going to be a chilly winter, I think.
Yeah. Well, we had a couple of cooler days, and it's supposed to be cooler by the end of the week, but cooler as in it's only going to be 25 degrees. But
well, normally we have some really hot days just before Anzac Day. Like it just gives us that last burst of warmth.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping so, because we just need to pull some honey from the beehives before we go into the fact that it's I actually had to heat my honey up this morning because it had gone solid because it's so cold down here, and that's just sitting on the shelf.
Oh, wow.
So we can't even get out of the hives when it's like that. So hopefully we'll get that nice big burst of energy before we take off, that heat, so that Rob can get some more, because I said, I'm getting really low on honey. And so he'll go and grab some for us. And we always like to leave the bees plenty over winter anyway, because to give them lots of food, given we, aren't in a tropical area and there's no flowers, very few flowers here in winter.
Yeah.
So they need lots of food.
My goal is that we'll have a flow on our place here very soon.
Yeah.
And lots and lots of good stuff that we can do for ourselves that bring us, like, they're very basic things, putting a veggie garden in, like they're getting your hands in dirt, like, but it feels it's so beautiful to do.
It is. I'm still pulling zucchini and yellow squashes. And that is unheard of at this time of the year.
Yeah.
I've got some beautiful big pumpkins coming on. Just waiting for the frost for that, and that'll make them beautiful. But it's been a cold. Nick's already got her little veggie seeds in. I'm not going to do that because we're sort of heading off a little bit at the moment, so I don't want to be doing that. But you've just got to, what is going to make you feel that joy, and if not, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody, because I'm grateful that I have Wendy and I have other beautiful people around me in my life that I could recognize this quicker.
Yeah.
Whether it was quicker, but, as I said, up and down, peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
But we are all, at some stage you may get that feeling of emptiness. You may have that void. Don't be stuck in it longer than you need to be.
Yeah. Do something about filling it with the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just, having an action plan, really.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And as I said, don't be afraid to reach, if when you know both coaches, don't be afraid to reach out.
Exactly. And both of us offer our services over Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you are. We're more than happy to provide a service for you.
And if you're finding that you don't want to spend the money on yourself, because that's really all it is when you don't pay for a coach, is that you're not prepared to spend that money on yourself. Think of it as just like having your nails done or your hair done, or it's really no different. It's actually about self-care. That's all it is. It's you taking the time out and valuing your worth to spend time. And I'm not saying that Wendy or myself are the right person for you, but reach out for someone. Don't do it alone.
It's like a massage for your emotional body.
Absolutely.
We'll go and get a massage for our physical body, but we need to go,
Yeah.
you know, we need a time of being able to have a massage for our emotional
Yeah.
body.
You know, you go and get pedicures and manicures and what is it? Nails and feet and all that sort of stuff. And this is really just for your mind. So it's mind care.
Yeah.
Which is really important, especially right now with so many universal changes going on.
Exactly. Well, I've got a little man who's decided he's going to come in here and sit behind me and bark. So I'm really
well,
sorry.
we can't hear him. We can't hear him.
Okay. Yeah, he's something's annoying him. So he's like started out there and he's like sitting right behind me.
Probably time to finish up the podcast anyway.
He's saying, please, will you jump off? So on that note, we will say goodbye.
Brilliant week.
Yeah, have a fantastic week, and we look forward to being back on with some more real chat with Sharon and I next week.
Don't forget to follow us and like us on our socials, and if you've got something that you'd like us to chat about, make sure you pop us a little message. And you know, we're really open to, if you've got something that's going on in your life and maybe you can't afford that coaching session, you know, share with us what's going on and we can have a chat about it and hopefully give you some solutions.
Yeah, and you can do that anonymously. Like, we don't have to put your name all over anything. But if there's something that you seriously, you don't have the money to be able to, you know, access services, then we do encourage that you do drop us a line, and we can do it in a podcast where it's, you know, could be talking to anybody.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And obviously that's our, you know, it'll be how we believe and think about it, but you know, it just may give you the answer that you need.
That's right. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
On the note, much love.
See you later.
Bye. Take care. Have
Bye.
a wonderful week.